Man, the honor and the pleasure and the privilege is mine. I got to preface with this because what they don't know is that we don't actually have a relationship, a long-standing relationship. I know you watched the sports show, but then I got a text less than a week ago from you, and you like, hey, let me know when you have 5 minutes. I call you, and you said I wanted to talk. Why you want to be here today?
Figuring I can help, hoping I can help anyone else out there who's dealing with any mental health problems by just, like you said earlier, by being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. But to me, I look at it by being brave and stepping up.
When did you check the temperature of yourself? When did you realize, you know what? I might have some mental health issues that I have to work through.
Oh, I realized that at a very young age.
When would you say they started? 13, 14?
Young, yeah, as a kid, around 10. Feeling like you, when I was told that I couldn't have what I wanted, what I dreamed of, and what I desired, and that was to rap. Mm-hmm. I was willing to die for it.
So many people, they don't know how to classify it. Mental health can play itself out, as you know better than I, as physical pain. It can play itself out as body aches. The world hasn't properly responded to mental health. So what was the moment that you realized, oh no, this is a mental health issue?
Once my thoughts got radical and got, to where you got to stop yourself and stop impulsing and say, what did you just think again? Or even if you cried yourself to sleep with that thought on your mind and wake up the next day and be like, I cannot believe I was thinking like that.
Thoughts like what?
Thoughts like killing yourself.
You thought about killing yourself?
Well, Acho, when I was 12 years old, school year was kind of ending. So what the school was doing was they was giving us half days on a Thursday and a Friday. It may have been a Wednesday as well, but what I would do was just tell my mom that I only had a half a day on one of those days. So therefore I stayed out the rest of the whole day, just like it was a full day. She found out. And so when I got home, on that thing, it was that Friday, whatever, I got home, got a phone call from my aunt, was like, she found out, boy, you about to get your ass kicked. And all that rapping and all that, she about to take that rap folder, she about to throw that shit away, and I was like, wow, so all that had built up to me. So that was a build up. I just listened to my aunt, like, I hear you. Because she was, she was like, boy, you about to get your ass when she get home, your mama take it. So she actually said, she was like, she's taking off. Hung up the phone, thoughts everywhere, thoughts everywhere. Main thought was, I'm gonna show you.
What were you gonna show her?
So I picked up the phone, I called the police. Yes, I knew where she kept her gun. And it was in her bedroom. And so I went in her bedroom, grabbed the gun. I already made the phone call. Looked in the mirror, did like that. Of course, it was like, oh no. Cause I got a little too scared, that was my head, like, no. But then I said, fuck it. Biggie was on. I'm looking in the mirror, so you could look through the mirror, and the television was behind me. So I was watching the video through the mirror. One More Chance was on, and I think Biggie was already gone or something. So I was just looking, and it was like, you know what? Start thinking again, had to get myself mad, and notice that I didn't have to. That's what scared me. How I know I had mental health problems was I pulled the trigger.
You actually pulled the trigger?
Yeah, I pulled the trigger.
Where'd you shoot?
In my chest. Didn't feel a thing from my heart, and didn't feel a thing though. So I wasn't going through any pain. Yeah, it was a shock. I woke up to to the police knocking, and that's what woke me up. Mind you, the walls, the ceilings, and the walls were white like this. So when I'm on my back, when you're looking up, my eyes probably were open the whole time. I didn't know. I probably had to click. As a kid, all you remember is you see when you die, you're gonna see the white, and you're gonna have. Well, I thought that was the white. The last one. The God, I did. And so then that's when with that knocking woke me up out of that. The knocking, they kept knocking, but then they stopped. And once they stopped knocking, I said, okay, they must have left. It took too long. It took too long for it meaning death. It took too long. So I was still just laying there. I didn't feel a thing. I said, shit, I said, I'm here for a reason. Had on like my little school shirt, so therefore it was cotton and we had wood floors. So I'm saying that to say, because of the blood was pouring out of my chest so much, that it made it easy for me to slide with my shirt in the wood across the floor. I made it all the way there. Only energy I had left was to kick the door. Kick the door, and I start hearing them go crazy, like, someone's in there, someone's in there. So when they start knocking the door, though, I'm right under the door. I'm like, well, shit, they gonna kill me with the door. And so when they knocked the door, that's when I found out, my first time found out what off the hinges or hinges is, because they knocked it off the hinges. And so, boom, and they picked it up. They saw me, they as in the cops, they saw me just jump clean over me and went through the house talking about, I found the drugs, I found the gun, I found it. And so they were doing all that. And so it took a guy named Uncle Bob. And he ran up there. When he got to the top of the steps and saw me there, he refused to even step over me. One of them yelled, like, I got the drugs. And that's when he went crazy. He was like, I don't give a fuck about no drugs. He's like, do you not see the baby on the ground? And funny that I kept trying, I was spitting all in his face, blood, everything. All I was trying to tell him was, I'm not a baby. Because he kept, do you not see the fucking baby on the ground with this hole in his chest? He was screaming at him, and it was like, I guess I didn't know he was, so he must have been the sheriff of boss, because they all came out the other rooms like, oh, sorry, boss, we called the ambulance. Or he's like, I don't give a fuck, do you, like, and so he called like one of them names, last name. Your car now. Picked me up, bought me, and just kept telling me some shit like, you're not gonna die on me, you're not gonna die on me the whole time. The whole time, I am trying to tell him I'm not a baby. That's what I told him for 30 minutes straight. And so he got me to the hospital. He brought me there. He never even checked it. He just left me, made sure I was good. I met him years later, but he was like, I just want to say, I'm happy to see that I saved a life that mattered.
What would you say kept you alive that day, in that moment?
God.
I remember reading this story. Okay, preface, got to go back. Lil Wayne was born in 1982. I'm born in 1984. When the Hot Boys were at the top of everything, this is like 99, 2000. I was 15, 16 years old. Lil Wayne was essentially like the Michael Jackson of rap for us. Like, he was in the biggest rap group at the time. He was the youngest. We all liked him. We all thought he was talented. He wasn't cussing at that time yet in his raps, but we could hear what he could do a little bit. And his story was really fascinating because you got Juvenile, grown-ass man, BG, grown-ass man, Turk. I think he was like 18, 19, grown-ass man. You got Lil Wayne, kid. And it made us really want to study what he had going on. And he talked about his story back then. I remember vividly, when the Hot Boys were on their promo run for Guerrilla Warfare, dope-ass album, by the way. He said the reason the gun went off is because he was doing too much. He was smoking, he was drinking, he was watching TV and playing with the gun, trying to clean or something, and it went off. That's what he said. And that always stuck with me. It always was like, is that really what happened? That sounds like a lot. I can see that happening, but, I ain't think too much of it. But it's a revelation, man, that there's so many things in here that are way deeper than what he was talking about. And he talked about some deep stuff, and I appreciate Wayne being vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable in this clip as well. I don't know if it's going to help anybody, but before I do that, man, make sure you share this with somebody who you think it could help. Really. I know I tell you how to share every video, but really, share this with somebody who you think it could help, because the fact that he opened up and told us that, might be one of the greatest gifts Wayne has ever given us, because who knows how many lives he just saved.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Dorian from group82university.com, and right here we got Lil Wayne talking about his suicide attempt when he was 12 years old. And like I told y'all in the intro, reading about that, it never made sense. And I started hearing him open up about this a little bit more. It's the first time I heard him really open up about it, just in a way where he just wanted to express it confidently, securely, because he's a man that's about to be 40 years old, so he really gets it. And suicide's a real thing. It's a real thing. I've had suicidal thoughts. I had them. First suicidal thoughts I was probably 11 when I moved from Ohio to Indiana. I had them in middle school. I had some in high school, not really in college that much. When I got out of college, absolutely. And as I've gotten older every year, I've had those thoughts run through my head. And the reason being it for me is the amount of emotion that I feel for certain situations, and I feel like it's never reciprocated. And I had to learn how to navigate this world caring about things so much that other people don't care about. I just had to learn that everybody's not me. I had to learn to love them where they are. I had to learn where my boundaries are, and I had to learn that I'm gonna respond to people to make sure that those boundaries don't get me pushed in where I wanna hurt myself or I wanna hurt somebody else. So anytime that I act like that, I'm just trying to protect everybody around. That's it. Because I'm a human being just like everybody else. I've even called a suicide hotline before. And at that time, I really wasn't suicidal, but I just wanted somebody to listen to me from an objective point of view without telling me how I should feel. I feel like a lot of people do that, especially in our community. And what Wayne said right here, he felt like he wasn't being heard. He felt like the one thing that he cared about the most, rapping, was gonna be taken away from him. And in a boy's mind, 10, 11, 12 years old, you're coming into your teenage years, you're coming into being a man. And you don't have the money to go live on your own. You know, you don't have the sexual prowess to go and get a woman and make yourself feel like a man like that. You don't have the strength to go beat up a whole bunch of dudes. All these things that society shows us, and once you start experiencing, you understand, makes you a man. You don't have any of that. But he did have a way to get people's attention. Shooting himself in the chest. 12-year-old boy. And I don't say this that often in these clips, but you need to go watch that entire clip. Go watch all 17 minutes. He reveals some really deep stuff that will help a lot of families. And one thing he said inside there was he talked about how his mom was. And he said after that incident, nobody died physically, but spiritually, how his mother was, how she was talking to him, how she made him feel, how she was talking down to him. He said that woman died because he never seen that woman again. His mom did a complete 180. As crazy as this sounds, his goal of getting his mom's attention to give him the freedom to go after what he truly wanted to do worked. I'm not telling nobody to do this. I'm asking us as a people, as a society, why does a 12-year-old boy feel like he gotta shoot himself to be heard? Why does a 37-year-old man have to have suicidal thoughts sometimes because feel like sometimes people just don't give a fuck about his emotions like that? When you listen to people, are you truly listening or are you waiting for them to get done talking? When you respond to people, are you responding to them in a way that's gonna benefit and give them value? Or are you responding to them in a way to make yourself feel good? When you are giving people advice, are you giving them true advice 100%? Or are you just trying to be negative because you can't go after the things you want to? And at that moment right there, it's a lot easier for you to push a negative energy than it is for you to push a positive energy. We all contribute to each other's mental health. Internet, real life, really the people we love that are with us every day, they contribute the most. It's the people closest to us that drive us to decisions like this. It's the people closest to us that gives us the suicidal thoughts. It's the people closest to us that makes us want to fucking kill somebody sometimes. But we've really thought about it. That don't come from strangers. That come from the people that say they love you. If you truly love somebody, why would you try to harm them and make them feel that way? Why would you try to compete with them? Why are you trying to rip them apart emotionally? Why are you not listening to them? Why can't you put your own ego aside to see what's really going on with them? Now, if they don't want to open up and they don't want to communicate, that's on them. They're an adult. But when you have a child, your only job is to make sure that your child is protected. It's not just physical, it's not just financial, it is spiritual and it's emotional too. Because you can protect your child in the biggest home with the most money, but eventually they're gonna be on their own. And if you didn't give them the spiritual or emotional protection, that's why we see things like this happen. I've had people in my life I lost to suicide, associates, friends, family. It's tough. You ask yourself why. I used to. You ask yourself, what could I have done, or could I have said something, or is it something I did? I used to. But I realized, you know what? This thing is compound interest. It's not one thing that triggers it. It's one thing that might push people over the edge. It's one thing that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But it's not one thing that triggers somebody's suicidal actions. They've been thinking about this for years. How'd you contribute to that? I wish they would have cried for help. They do cry for help. Sometimes it's not talking. Sometimes it's not texting back. Sometimes it's telling you I'm not in the mood. Sometimes it's telling you don't follow me in another room. Sometimes it's telling you I really just want to sit here and eat my food and watch the Olympics. That didn't happen, I'm just saying. No, sometimes it's something like that. But sometimes we're so selfish that we confuse other people's ability and process to become mentally healthy as a knock on who we are as a person. I appreciate Wayne opening up and sharing this, man, and I hope that I help somebody. You know, you're here for a reason, man. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna go that route. I'm gonna talk about me. I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. Everything I've been through in my life, it takes a lot to get to where I am. It takes a lot to be 37 years old and to be able to be upright and moving and do everything I do every day. It takes a lot to be a dad. It takes a lot to have a business. It takes a lot to have family that loves you. It takes a lot to have friends that love you. It takes a lot. I'm here for a reason. That's why I would never kill myself, because I'm here for a reason. If I kill myself, yeah, my problems are done, but I just made everybody that loved me, I just ruined all their lives. My mom, my dad, my sister, my lady, my daughter, all my friends. I just ruined their fucking lives. That's some selfish shit. That's how I look at it for me. Yes, they have been selfish to me in a lot of regards. Every single one of those people I named, they've been selfish to me outside of my daughter. They've been selfish to me. But I verbalize it to them and I tell them, if they don't want to accept the selfishness, then I separate myself. Sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it involves a lot of cussing. Sometimes it involves a lot of anger. But I'd rather have that than me or them do something violent to ourselves or to each other. Start listening to the people you love. Put the phone down, turn the TV off, look them in their eyes, and don't care how hard it is, listen to them. There's a lot of people that need a lot of help, and they need it from you. Ain't no therapist gonna help them with that. They need it from the person that they love. I appreciate y'all watching this entire video. Seriously, go watch that entire clip with Emmanuel Acho and Wayne. One of the best clips on mental health I've ever seen. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay true.
Here we go again, steady arguing. I swear to God, girl, I need this to end. I'm out here on the road, doing 100 shows, and every cent I make, I'm sending back home.
Group82university.com.